Hello guys, Mr. Mano Elia here. This is the study of stuff. Now, I went over and over this in my head through trying to organize information and all this stuff and what was I gonna talk about, how was I gonna present this information. So then I decided to give up on that because I was just getting nuts trying to jam in all that information in like a couple of minutes. It's not gonna work. So let's begin with a quick little exercise. So this helps me illustrate my point a little bit as to why I've been doing the meditations the way I've been doing them and where we're going with it and the entire program in itself. Okay, let's begin. You don't have to close your eyes on this. You can keep them open, but if you like, you can close them. What I want you to do is pick a person you know and put that person in your head. This individual that you know has to have some sort of ailment, like broken leg, or they're sick in other ways, or they have financial problems or whatever. Just pick this individual. Let's call him Johnny, and let's say Johnny has a broken leg. So you fill in the blank there with your person and their problem. Now, think to yourself a prayer of sorts for Johnny. Say, may Johnny's leg get better. May Johnny's leg get better. And focus on that thought. May Johnny's leg get better. Take a few minutes and do that. Now, let's be less direct with this prayer and say, may the best outcome for Johnny happen. May the best outcome for Johnny happen. Take a second and put that prayer out there. May the best thing for Johnny happen. Now, what I want you to do is kind of think, where were you feeling this? Where were you sensing this signal coming from the first time you did it, when you were direct, with the direct prayer, may Johnny's leg get better? You probably felt it in your head. You probably felt it coming from around here somewhere, okay? Like you felt yourself willing it. It's gonna happen. You felt yourself forcefully intending it. Then the second way, when you were less direct, you may have felt it in your heart. An expanded, free, open intention. That's where I'm going with this program, this integrated approach. This is where I'm going. And I'm going to be doing that on the mental plane, the physical plane, and the spiritual plane. And right now we've begun by doing it with meditation. But we are doing it still on a physical, mental, and a spiritual plane. Now, how I've tried to illustrate that through the exercises that we've done so far is like this. The very first exercise, I asked you to use your 5 senses in the moment, okay? So what you did is you took your 5 senses, which is how we kind of get through life and we interpret information in our physical reality. You used your 5 senses at once. Then you took one sense, the mind's eye, but internally you kept an image inside you. So instead of it being outside, you put it inside. So you use the mind's eye to concentrate and keep an image in your head. Then in the third one, what we did was we took those 5 senses, brought them into your internal world and visualized them and experienced them inside your head. Then, towards the end of it, I asked you to question who the ultimate observer of it all was. In that moment, you may have felt an expanded feeling, which was similar to the prayer that you did from the heart. That expanded feeling is more on the spiritual plane than it was on the physical plane. So we went from a physical, using your 5 senses, to a mental, emotional by, mentalizing and visualizing and holding that image in your head, and emotional, using your emotions to kind of walk yourself through that whole thing, and then at the end combining that emotion with that feeling of expansion as you felt what I'd like to call for the moment spirit. You felt an expanded version of self. Okay, why this is all important? Well, because the reason why we have a lot of problems in our lives, whether it be psychological or whatever, is because we're over-rationalizing and trying to overthink the world that we live in. And we all do this based on our programming and our subconscious mind. Even when we think we're not doing it, we're doing it. we're trying to see what's right, what's wrong, what's light, what's dark, what's this and what's that, and trying to, use logic and rationale, mix it in with some sort of form of intuition and intention, and try to kind of see where we're going with this. But if you realize that life doesn't have to be so difficult if you go from a singular approach, which is a heart-based approach, and feel an expanded version of self. In that expanded version of self, you quickly realize there's a connection to something else. Okay? Now, in metaphysics, they describe this as like a god in a god sense. I'm trying to avoid getting too much into that right now, not because I'm afraid to, but I'd love to. But right now, I don't want to get sidetracked and go into too much of that. But that expansion of oneness, that all is one. That's what we're talking about. And in physics, we have similar ways of looking at all of this. Through seeing things as a unified field, or the 0-point field, or entanglement, and all the stuff, and oneness is all in there. And again, I'm trying to avoid going too deep into that stuff too, because I love that as well. So I'm just kind of doing a quick brief overview. So what am I talking about really? What I'm talking about is knowing thyself, that true self, and helping thyself heal physically, mentally, and spiritually, because what you think internally expands externally, right? We all know that to be true. Hopefully we do. And as we go further, we'll try to back that up a little bit more. Another thing is, everything is a vibration and a frequency. And what we're trying to do here with this entire program is increase our vibration and frequency and bring us to a better attuned version of self. Kind of like a musician tunes his instrument or her instrument. Being that I am a musician, I know the importance of that, and I'm sure if you've heard an untuned guitar, you know the importance of that. But going a little bit further than that, resonance is an important factor. What do I mean by that? Well, if you have a guitar in front of you and you pluck the A string and you have a violin in front of you, you'll notice that when you pluck the guitar string A, the violin automatically vibrates the A string. The A string on the violin vibrates. That's resonance, isn't it? Now, isn't that what really it's been deemed in pop culture now to be called the law of attraction? Isn't that what law of attraction really is? It's a form of mental perception of a belief system that helps you vibrate at a certain frequency. If you can you can choose how you want to look at the hologram and pick a vibration, so to speak. I don't want to overcomplicate things there, so I'm going to take that back. You vibrate at a certain frequency and you resonate with other people or things or individuals or situations or synchronistic moments to attract to you these things. What we're ultimately doing here is trying to bring the person, the self, to a more healthier version of themselves and resonate better with the things they want by focusing their attention and attention to certain things. And this is what we've been practicing so far. And as we keep going, we're going to take this mental, physical, and spiritual approach and apply that to physical movements, as in calisthenics, qigong, other forms of energy work, and many other, yoga and all that stuff, as well as psychology, using different psychological, excuse me, I almost burped there, that would have been rude, psychological ways of dealing with issues. But ultimately, I like to say that this is a cause-based approach, not a symptom-based approach. Because once you deal with the cause, all the symptoms fall away. Thanks for listening. Stay in tune. Bye-bye, guys. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Study of stuff. I'm Mano.